When I was a bit younger, my buddy and I used to get home from school every day to his house and play Black Ops 2 on his family's old beat-up projector screen. We sat downstairs on beanbags on the floor and grinded multiplayer, campaign, and zombies. We went for high rounds on Origins and Mob of the Dead. We played the campaign on Hardened, working through the missions little by little as our friendship progressed. We'd grind the multiplayer on our own time, competing to see who'd get a higher rank. We spent a lot of time together back in those days, and yet now I haven't seen him in years. I think that for me, one of the saddest parts about growing up has been seeing my friendships collapse, not from fights or disagreement, but simply from the nature of life and becoming an adult. Many of my friends in the past have moved away, or I've moved away from them, or the circumstance of our lives have separated us and we don't keep in touch anymore. In a way, it's like I have certain memories of time spent with people I might never get to see again. All the while, I wonder if they remember too, or if those memories are just parts of me now, with nobody else to share in them. You see, I think a lot of people, practically everyone, has experienced something like this, where a friendship slowly fades into the background, and you think about your childhood and your friends in the past with nostalgia, bittersweet feelings. Nowadays, I honestly only have one friend, maybe two. Although I have some superficial relationships like coworkers and people I know, and of course my family, in a way I genuinely only have a couple people now that I consider a friend, that I hang out with and talk to about life on the regular. When I was a kid, growing up, I feel like I had a lot of friends. I was more social and it seemed easy. But nowadays it's like I don't even have the desire to make new friends because in a way it feels like something that'll fade away again unless I hold on to it. Like friendships are these transitory things that don't last very long or are rarely significant in the grand scope of our lives. I think sometimes about my parents as an example. Although I'm sure it isn't like this for everyone, my parents don't have any friends really. They have family who they're somewhat close to, they have their kids and each other, but their friends from high school and college, which I know they had, never a word or mention, not even a thought in their mind as enough time elapses. Maybe to some people this is fine, a part of life, some unimportant or unconsequential thing, considering everything. But to me, as someone who's just now becoming an adult, seeing all of the friends in my life go their separate ways and lose touch with one another, it's hard not to look back on the beautiful memories I made with them and find a nostalgia for the days we were closer. Sometimes it seems like however much you might try to put in the effort, the circumstance of our lives in the world pulls us apart. The friend I mentioned at the start of the video is in a foreign country right now for 2 years on a Mormon mission. Growing up in Utah, I've had a lot of friends who are Mormon, and although I myself am not, those friends are on their missions, and so I can't really contact them or call them up and talk about life or reconnect with them on a game of COD on the weekends. They feel distant, a world away, and I know it'll be that way for 2 years, by which time our friendship will have weakened and the rest of our lives will be ahead of them without our friendship a part of it. And maybe that's just me being cynical. Maybe they'll come back after 2 years without contact and we'll hang out and it'll be just like normal. But somehow I doubt that. Somehow I know more than likely they'll be busy, they'll go to college, we'll reconnect and try to stay in touch, but ultimately drift apart as our lives become busier and more demanding of us. Throughout my life, I've seen friends come and go, connections and relationships come and go, people I invested in leaving my life silently as I've seen my circle grow smaller and smaller with time. Now, I don't mean to just complain or put the blame on others or say this is an issue with everyone else and not me. I'm a part of it too, and that's the hardest part, honestly. Sometimes life does just get complicated and time passes and I realize I haven't made the effort and I still don't try to. Sometimes I realize I wish I was closer to someone or I wish I was keeping in touch with an old friend and I still don't reach out. It isn't a bad thing necessarily that friends drift apart. It's just the way it is. It's a natural part of life. But that doesn't mean it isn't sad or bittersweet as I look at our old Minecraft world and see how much life is missing from these memories I still hold deep in my heart. I think in a way because our time here is so limited and the circumstance of our lives will often take us in separate ways, the friendships you care about require effort to stay alive. They require prioritizing and valuing more highly than some other aspect of your life. In some ways, as an adult, every act you take is some specific sacrifice of your time. We become more and more busy, and so we're more careful with how we budget and spend that precious free time we have. And so most adults choose their partners and their kids above their friendships, and thus we carry a graveyard in our minds of all of the past friendships we've had with people we're now estranged from. I really do hope that when this friend comes back from his mission, we'll be able to reconnect like we promised. That we'll be able to replay our old Minecraft worlds one last time, play a round of Kino one last time. But a part of me knows that might just be nostalgia and sentiment talking. A part of me knows that trying to hold on to the past and recreate what was only holds you back from making the best of your present. You see, in a way, I don't think we really try to make those priceless memories. It isn't something conscious in the moment. Our perspective is what gives them value. Our perspective looking back on a period of our lives and seeing the beauty we struggled to see the first time around. It's almost like you only know you're in the good old days once they're gone. You never know what moment now might be a nostalgic memory for you in the future. Like this YouTube channel, making this video right now, writing this script, and thinking about my life and my friendships in the past. This might someday be a nostalgic memory for me, something I look back on that helps contextualize this period of my life for me. For any of you who can relate to this, who have been through something similar, had friends online or in the real world who have drifted apart, reach out, make the effort. Maybe you guys can't return to the way things were. Maybe you still don't have time for one another. But checking in while you can, before something happens to them or you lose that opportunity, is super important. The people we invest in and become friends with in our lives stay within us forever. And even if you can't connect and spend time with one another, having a chance to reflect and end that chapter in your book is important. My grandma died earlier this year, and something I learned from that experience is that you can't wait to have the conversations or make the memories you wanted to. Life is fragile. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen or how our lives might end. Even young people die all the time in tragic, sudden ways, and the time you have is cut short. Since my grandma died, I've thought a lot about how I wish I would have spent more time with her, had more talks, listened to more of her stories. We don't think in the present about how we're going to remember our present in the future, but now that I'm in the future looking back, I find myself wishing I could give this message to my past self. Invest more, put in that effort, make those extra memories. And then I think about the people who are still alive in my life, like my mom, or my brothers, or my friends, both close and distant. And I realize that our time here is precious, and that the time we spend with others becomes the most valuable parts of our memories to us. And so it's worth reaching out, it's worth putting in that effort, making those extra memories, and spending that time with people that you're not going to regret if something happens to them.